So if you scroll down one of the top bar things, you'll notice there's now a lot of like almost expandable menus that you can then expand out the sides. Which to me, what they're doing is subtly recreating the sidebar from 24. Just
and it's like, for some reason, it's like, Dad, what happens if I just played with no strikers? And it's just put the guy down into the thing, played 4-0. I was like, you know when you get the notebook, like, chicken nose, like, yeah. What's the mentality?
Strikerless meta locked down.
Yeah. Apparently, it is the sort of the meta, though, right? Innit?
Yeah,
viewers, avoid it. Don't you cheat, viewers?
Or I'll report you to the police.
Yeah, the SI police.
That's
coming.
Yeah, they've crashed on the way here.
On Saturday, the 25th of December, Christmas Day, Van Dijk signs a new 4-year Real Madrid deal. What do you think happens 2 days later, Matt?
2 days later, it's got to be an injury.
Well, the injury would make sense, but there was no injury. 2 days later, Real Madrid's Van Dijk sets his date for retirement, which is at the end of the season. Hello people and welcome back to another episode of the FM Show pod. I am your host today, Aaron Floon, also known as RDF Tactics. We have 2 players missing. They're both away on international duty. Sai is away in Mexico. He swapped Butlins for Mexico. Sounds a little bit better. And Tony was away in Birmingham. He was at a Pokemon show. I'm not sure if he was competing. Was he competing? We'll find out next week.
Kids that were competing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting stuff. But today we do have a special host here, co-host Matt, aka SecondYellowCard. How are you doing?
I'm terrific. Outside of the sore throat, it's like the parents are away in a way, and they've left the kids in charge of the podcast. Yeah. We've gone from the minivan with us 2 sat in the back seats to now it's like you and I in a motorcycle and sidecar. It's brilliant.
Oh man, even doing that awkward, that intro is so awkward. Like I just don't even know how to compose myself. I need to be a bit more like Tony.
Dad needs to do with the guests. Usually we just sit there and look pretty.
Literally. But I have 2 updates today. I have been playing FM. That is one of the updates, people. I have started my heart save. I have got into FM. I'm just going along with the flow now that my game is no longer. I was gonna say it's no longer crashing. It's now letting me play. We'll start there. It's now letting me play. I am enjoying it. And the other update is that Football Manager did have an update. That is why I am able to play the game. So they have the new patch 26.12. They have some key changes for it, which includes fixed game freezing when using instant result during the hot seat mode. That is somewhat illegal. I'm not sure I agree with that, Matt. People using instant result to get out of a game. I did say at the beginning of this record, just before we were recording, I was tempted to use it. Getting battered at home. But I don't think I could use that button anymore. How about
you campaigned so hard to get it in the game.
I used it so much in FM24 as well. But now it's an actual thing. It's no longer a modded button. I just feel, you know what? If you go into a game, just play it out. If you're going to instant result it, just do it at the beginning of the game. That's my stance now. Not before though. But before it's like, yeah, you just instant result it, man. No matter the time.
I love it. Now you're a purist. You're like, no.
Yeah, you've got to play all your games on full match as well. None of this key.
You don't normally?
No.
Pathetic.
Imagine that. We also got redesigned stages and season preview tile to be full screen. So we've got like sort of new-ish screens, or they've updated some of the old screens. We've got further navigation enhancement, including additional drop-down options in the main and secondary nav bars. Not quite sure what that means. Improved functionality for customizing and rearranging column placements on the first team squad view. I have used that today actually. And tweaks on the amount of money spent on Asian players by Premier League high profile clubs. That one is an interesting one. Do you know much about that one? That last one?
I haven't seen it in action yet because I've only done like one transfer window since the patch, but I don't remember them. Maybe it's just because I had the Premier League set to like view only on my save, so they don't do as much transfer stuff. So perhaps if I had it on like a playable league, it was just them. I don't know, what were they doing? Signing out of the MLS or out of the Saudi? They're bringing them back from Saudi. It's like post-Saudi.
That's literally what it was. I started seeing like Ruben Neves come his way back to the Premier League. There's quite a few players that I saw. Kante was another one that I saw in my game as well. This was before, like long time ago, not my recent one. I'm the same. I've got like Premier League view only. I'm currently just in Scotland, living in Scotland. I don't care about any other nations. I'm a purist in Scotland. We only care about the Scottish football down there. But I'm not sure.
You have it on for context, right? I feel like this year, because of the way that it works a bit faster, you can kind of have a few more view-only leagues just for like funsies, I suppose. Just so you can be like, well, who's won the Premier League this year? And it's still going to be Manchester City, Arsenal or Liverpool because it seems to always be. But at least you can see their points.
Yeah, that's right. I always had that in FM24, to be honest. But now I just feel, you know what, with FM26, sometimes when I start a new game, I just want to get into the game. So I've stopped like faffing about with all that additional stuff because you can no longer save and load a custom thing, can you? Or you can do one, but you can't just do the database.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because if you save the database setup now, it saves like the leagues you've got loaded, the actual playable thing on top of it, and then you have to go. It's like, why? Who wanted that?
So like, the way I'm doing it now is like sort of creating a template, and then I just load that, and then I just add the leagues that I want, sort of thing. But yeah, that one, that's another thing that has bugged me. I haven't actually requested that. I should request that actually.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things that people have just kind of accepted that, like, everyone agrees that it's kind of dumb, but no one can be asked to report it as a bug because they're just like, well, that's going to be bug number 7,372. Like, we ain't going to receive a resolution to that, are we? And we'll have to live with it. It's like, there's a hole in my bedroom wall, but you know what? As long as the rain doesn't get through it, it'll be fine.
So let's start with the freezing now. I actually saw a TikTok today of someone experiencing the exact same freezing that I had. It's when you just press the game and it loads and it just closes. And it's just like, why is it doing it? You just keep doing it. And it's literally like lottery. You just keep doing it. And you're just waiting for it to... It reminds me of, the old PlayStation games. And like, it was a PlayStation 2 games. And then sometimes it was just do it on like the loading screen. You just have to rewrite.
Yes.
And you just have to keep trying it. And then one time it will just work.
Because you'd just be waiting for like the logo of the game to appear on the PS2 menu. Otherwise, it would just be like loading. I'm like, come on, what Metal Gear Solid, damn it!
But yeah, for some odd reason, I had that. So it wasn't even a freeze. It was just the game just closed. And then when I got into the game, that's when I had my freezing. But yeah, the freezing has dropped a lot in my experience anyway, because I couldn't get into the game in the first place. And yeah, I had one. It was just so weird. So I was getting excited, doing my tactics. Literally at the very start, that's when the game froze again. I was like, well, that's not great. Luckily though, it was right at the beginning, so I didn't actually do anything. I wasn't into the save yet. I was just looking around tactics. But it hasn't froze since. Touch wood, yeah. My game hasn't froze since, and it's been pretty smooth sailing. How's your experience with the freezing?
Whatever the opposite of what you just said is, that's been my experience, legitimately. I was having the best time with FM. People are like, oh, it's crashing. I'm like, no, it isn't. Stop lying. And oh my God, mate. I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of have to be tonight because I've had more crashes since this patch in the 1 week I've been playing it, and that's only been through 2 streams, than since the beginning of FM to me downloading that patch. It crashed 4 times on one stream, twice off the same thing. So it crashed on the season preview screen, and then as I was restarting it, I accidentally clicked on the game while it was in the process of loading up, and the game went, I'm sorry, sir, you can't actually do that. I'm going to crash again. Application error has become my best friend as of recent things. But yeah, it's just... I'm just avoiding touching things. If a menu looks like it's like the forbidden box that you don't stick your hand in, I just leave it there.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Yeah, I don't want to risk it. Or if I'm going to touch it, I'll save first. Like if I see a number that doesn't look quite right, save first, then fiddle with the number and see what happens, you know? I've learned my lesson. Hopefully it's just me being either having bad luck or, you know, maybe I've got a mod installed that is actually genuinely breaking it. You know, maybe I've got a face pack installed that's messing up the entire game somehow. That's life, isn't it, right? Like, or I'm just really unlucky. Maybe I'll play the game on stream tomorrow and things will be absolutely perfect.
I'm so happy someone's having like a similar experience because Genuinely, it's like some people just must think like I'm negative or I just want to hate on the game. Like, I used to make a living off this game. Like, I genuinely want it to be a brilliant game. I sort of need it to be a brilliant game. I don't want to hate on it. When the game first came out and I had my first save, everything was smooth. I was streaming, numbers were up. I was twerking, all sorts of different things. And then it's just, I don't know what happened. But this is around the time not everyone was enjoying the game. So it just felt like I was just being over positive just for the sake of it. That's what it felt like. And then it just sort of flipped where people were like, oh, I'm getting used to the game now. The game's fine with me. And I'm like, I can't even play the game. It's freezing. And I'm just constantly complaining. Everyone's like, it's not freezing for me. It's not freezing for me. And I'm like, what is going on? And now again, it's slowly turning where I'm like, you know what? I'm getting into the game. I'm playing it. I got almost halfway through a season. Other people are like, nah, it's crashing. It's crashing.
It's like well, I mean, I was in the same boat because when it first came out, obviously I had my issues with it, but I genuinely didn't. Like, I thought it was. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it was good because it wasn't, right? But it has been getting better, and I've been enjoying it. I've still been having my fun with it. Crucially, I've been able to have my enjoyment with it and make content around it and enjoy the process of doing so. And this is not to say that has suddenly stopped. It hasn't. Like, ultimately, a little crash here and there. I'm saving enough. I just restart it and get on with it. You know, it's not the big deal. It's kind of funny. Obviously, if it was happening 15 times a stream or whatever, then yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But it sucks and I don't want it to happen, but ultimately I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to complain about it too much beyond just acknowledging that it exists, right? Because you don't want it to, we don't want this podcast to turn to another one. Well, here's all the things that are wrong with it this week. You know, that's no fun, but it is important to acknowledge these things in the experience of what it's been like since the patch. But I suppose that brings us on to the other things that they've changed, which are not sort of stability related. They're actual QOL changes and changes to the screens. And I think one of the biggest highlights from the patch notes was the changes to things like the league stages screen. So what have you, firstly, have you seen it? Secondly, what do you think of it? And do you think it's the move in the right direction and other screens need to take that same sort of inspiration?
I liked it, especially the stages because it was interactive. It's got that fit, and now it was hidden, and like, so I didn't actually notice it. I was just looking around. I was like, the screen's not that pretty, but okay. And then I saw a little thing at the bottom where it was like minimize. Sorry, one sec. I'm just in my game to sort of get it up. I know you guys might not be able to see it. I'm sorry, people. But
imagine
I just need to. So yeah, you need to imagine it, people. So here we are. So I've got like, it's just sort of blank. I've got my league. Bear in mind, there's only 12 teams in my league as well, so it's only like half the page. A lot of dead space. So I was like, not really nice on the eye. And then at the bottom, it's got minimize table or show tiles. You click that, and then more things come up where it's got like team stats, and it shows Celtics got most goals. But I like this because nothing popped up on the screen, if that makes sense. There was no pop-up. Yeah. It was just on the same screen. You just click this little tile, and the tile just sort of just swipes up, and you've got more information. I was like, that is the direction you need to go. Not something that's going to pop up in my face, and I'm like, oh, I've got to click on something again. It was like, this felt more interactive, more just in a flow of things. Like, rather than something popping up on the screen. Because I know it's very picky, but that little 0. whatever seconds that you're waiting for that thing to pop up, it does to sort of disconnect, because you've got to remember that that's on almost everything that you're clicking. Whereas this is like, you're not waiting for anything, you just click it and something swipes up, and it's just like, that is so much better. That's much better flow than a pop-up screen. I'm guessing pop-up screen will be obviously needed, and some, you click on a player, you need something else to pop up, obviously. But I think, that page, I think that's the direction to go on many other pages, in my opinion.
It seems like there's almost not enough things were created in that style, and now this is almost like a proof of concept to say, hey, look, this is what we can do. And I think as a community, largely, it's been a case of, excellent, do more of that, because you're right. It's like obviously you've only had it with a 12-team league, but I've been playing in League One with Plymouth on another save I've been doing, and that's a 24-team league. That was all scrolly before because the screen real estate wasn't there. But now, if you minimize the tiles, you can see the entire league table on one screen. And it's weird that I'm looking at that as a positive thing, but it is just a nice step in the right direction. But that point you made about how it's all just sort of cleanly there around the edge, it's all just tickable, and then those things can pop up, but the league table doesn't. It's like the difference between smoothly looking at a league table on your phone or opening one of those cans that's full of like springy snakes. That's kind of that was what the previous league table. It was just like you click it, it's like league table. I'm like, all right, chill. It wasn't that serious. And I think that if they could apply that same design logic to loads of other areas of the game, like the loan screen, for example, it could go a long way to slowly sort of rebuilding the game's design ethos in a way that isn't looking like 24, because this is certainly not FM24 looking like. I'd say it's probably better, actually. And it feels like that's a direction that if they could keep steering into, bit by bit, and not say they do lots of stuff in 26 or whatever, but if it went, right, for 27, we are going to redesign a load of screens to look exactly like this, I'd be like, because ultimately, all they can do is learn. And if people are happy with the things they're learning and mold the game in that way, then everybody gets a better game out of it. Players like us get a better game to play. They presumably sell more games. They make more money. It's just a perfect win-win situation, I suppose, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I remember even like leading up to this podcast, so I wanted to do like something little fun. So I was just looking around like Reddit, TikTok, and I was looking out for clips for us to look at and react. But obviously most of the clips are like little quirky things in the match engine or whatever it is. But in my head, I'm like, are we putting too much negative light on these things rather than... Because my thing is like, you know what, just sort of try and fall in love with these little quirks, and then hopefully Football Manager are learning, and then in the next game, in the next edition, then we're going to have more closer to our product that we want. But then again, like, you don't really want that pile on. Be like, hey, we're paying attention to this quirky thing. Look how this guy has just absolutely smashed it from the halfway line into his own goal, which is a weird bug that I've seen quite a few times. It's just so weird. It's just the player
would never
has the
happen
ball.
in FM24.
Oh, you say that? As I was scrolling down, boom, FM24. I was like, oh, it was happening in both games. For some odd reason, maybe you're just expecting a little bit more perfection this year. But it is that thing. I think some people sort of trying to make that point is like, okay, but FM24 wasn't perfect. Okay, but that happened in FM24 and you weren't complaining. And it's just like, okay, to be fair, you do have a point. But
I suspect I very much was complaining in FM24 as well, but it would have been more tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. Like when we conceded that goal at the FIFA, where he volleyed it into his own net and then celebrated.
It's still generally one of the best goals that I've seen, just in the wrong net. Just in the wrong net.
Great content.
But I don't, maybe now because the 3D engine is just much better. So now you're seeing these own goals, but real life looking ish. It just looks.
Yeah, I suppose it's no longer dots on a screen. It's like that's a bloke that did that. What's he doing?
It's a real David? Life dude. What is wrong with my guy? So there was, we already spoke about the tweets to the amount of money because we didn't really experience that not being a Premier League club anyway. But there was also further navigation enhancements, including additional drop-down options in the main and secondary nav bars.
Yes, so I was unsure as to what that meant initially, but I have now figured out what it means. Basically, because that is a really weird way of phrasing it. Because when the big nav bars across the top, you've got the drop down with all the stuff. I thought it meant that it added more stuff to that. But what it's actually done is add like sub menus. Well, yeah, you'd think. So if you scroll down one of the top bar things, you'll notice there's now a lot of like almost expandable menus that you can then expand out of the sides.
Okay.
Which to me, what they're doing is subtly recreating the sidebar from 24 just at the top. Which, do you know what? Go off, sis. Continue to do so. I'm totally fine with that.
Go on, just keep going.
They say never interrupt your enemy while they're making a mistake. Like, continue to do that,
just
please.
Slide that bar to the left-hand side. I won't notice it,
Just let them go. Gravity will take over. It'll end up there anyway.
But it is so like at Southampton when we're doing scouting, we've got this like you sort of, I don't even know how to call it. It's like your little journal or whatever, like their database where you're uploading, but it's customizable. It's so weird because sometimes you click on something and you accidentally hold it and you can drag something in your screen and it just throws you off. But in my head, I'm like, as I was doing it when I was scouting, I was like, wait, in Football Manager, it would be so cool. Obviously not now, but in future editions, if you can actually just rearrange your screen into little slots. Because obviously the way it is designed, it's got like boxes and stuff. So if you move this box to that box, it might swipe something else or whatever it is. So I was just thinking, imagine you could just start moving things. So my homepage looks completely different to your homepage. I think that would be pretty cool in future editions.
That'd be the dream. Just that first level of customization, like we kind of did have in many ways with the Leagues in Focus screen and just the homepage that used to be able to customize with quite a lot of stuff. But I don't know how much of that was added in skins. Yeah. It's nice pipe dreams, I suppose. It would just be nice to have that sort of stuff. But these are all just kind of like, it'd be great, but I'm not expecting it anytime soon. And it certainly isn't going to suddenly stop my enjoyment. They'll all add to my enjoyment of the game rather than being a detriment because I don't have it, I guess.
Yeah. So weird. I just remember FM24. I was just complaining. I can still remember the streams just complaining. Why don't they just change the sidebar? Just move it or something. Now they moved it. I'm like, who told you to do that? Who told my guy to do that? It's so weird. It throws me off, but a little bit still. So like I've noticed that when I'm playing this heart save, I'm still very much a spacebar player, and I'm not really navigating too much around the world. I still found it a bit clicky. Yeah, I think that's the word.
Yeah.
Clicky.
It just used to sort of take you out of your spacebar lock-in a bit more like it used to. That's really, I think all it needs is just that little sort of like, almost like a checkpoint, I suppose. It's like, you've pressed spacebar a lot recently. Have you considered the Argentinian second division? Like, that's all I want out of it, I suppose. It's just a little sort of
funny.
The FM version of the Microsoft paperclip. It looks like you're scouting. Could you look?
Could you imagine that? Imagine that. That's what my scouts should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
God damn,
genuinely
scouts.
though, that would have been a much better use for the sort of, the sort of WhatsApp-y type system the game kind of has built in now with the notification. I think that would be a cool way of doing it, actually, for a tutorial, I suppose, because I was really hoping there'd be a better tutorial this time around, but I still end up skipping it and it's more annoying. But maybe that's just because I'm a more experienced player, so I'm not looking for a tutorial. I'd actually be really interested to hear from the listeners if they are a more newer player to FM, sort of either this is their first game or maybe last year was their first game, how they found the tutorial experience from one to the other, because I just skip it every single time. But that's because it's not for me and it's not for you either. But I imagine that for the viewer or the listener, it may be for you in that situation. So I would genuinely love to know what you've thought of that and whether it has been a step in the right direction. And if it hasn't, what you think you would change about it.
It's a good one. So my son played the game, and then when he was going through, like, it's so jarring watching someone. So like, when you know Football Manager and then you're watching someone else new play it and they have to go through the tutorial, it's so jarring watching them read the thing slowly. And then I just, mate, the button's right there. And it's just so weird because you know it's there. They have no idea where it is. And it's just like, mate, it's right there. Just press the button. But yeah, that's actually interesting. My son tried to play it. Obviously, he's only 6. He doesn't understand every word that's popping up and that sort of stuff. But he's like, he done something so crazy. Like, obviously, a proud moment is where, like, I set up a 4-2-3-1, I think it was. And then, like, he's learning positions, like, by himself. He's watching, like, a lot of Match of the Day and that sort of stuff. And he's like, for some reason, he's like, Dad, what happens if I just played with no strikers? And he just put the guy down into the thing, played 4-0. I was like, you know when you get the notebook, like, chicken nose, like, yeah. What's the mentality?
Strikerless meta locked down.
Yeah. Apparently it is the sort of the meta though, right? Innit?
Yeah,
viewers, avoid it. Don't you cheat, viewers.
Or I'll report you to the police.
Yeah, the SI police.
That's
coming for you.
They've crashed on the way here, unfortunately.
I was just about to say, that's if they make it without crashing. Oh my God.
Where do we even go from there?
Yeah, where do we go? I'm just thinking of the next one now.
What's next on the changelog list, Aaron?
I think we've gone through.
Have we? In that case, would it be the best time? You said you've been playing your heart save. Maybe now would be a perfect time for a save update, because of course for the viewers and listeners, that was the surprise sort of Secret Santa shirts that we got at Christmas.
It was.
We've been doing those saves. I haven't actually had a chance to start my Atromitos save just yet, so you're ahead of the curve a little bit on this one. How's it been going?
It's up and down. So I mean, I'm telling everybody else not to cheat. I've sort of cheated. I've just went back to my tactic that I was using in the beta. I was like, that worked then. I guess it's going to be fine now. So it's a 4-3-3, and it's like defensive mentality, oddly, and it's a mid-block. So I sort of using it, even though I know it's a downloadable tactic because I've uploaded it on the internet, it still feels like I'm... it still feels like I'm not, like...
I don't think it counts as a downloadable tactic if you're the one that uploaded it.
I genuinely downloaded the tactic from...
You're just there like, this RDF guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel bad because obviously it's not the gegenpressing and stuff. So like you don't feel bad using it. It's just like it's generally a standard 4-3-3. Out of possession is sort of 4-5-1. So it's a real bastard to get through for the opposition. So it all started so well. How do you get to your results? Sugar.
Oh, wish I scheduled it. That's one of the few things I have bookmarked that I can actually bookmark.
Yeah. It's a fixture schedule. And you start off with the Premier Sports Cup, which is pretty easy because you're playing the lower tier sides as well. It all started so well in the William Hill Premiership, beating Aberdeen 3-0, Dundee United away 2-0. Beating Motherwell 6-1. I thought I'd crack the game here. We had a couple draws then. So we drew 0-0 with Livingston. And then we drew 0-0, or 1-1, away to Rangers. They equalised in the 85th minute. That's when you're thinking, okay, we're a solid team. A couple more wins after that. Then we played Celtic. And it was in that moment I was considering using the instant result button in the middle of the game because it was so weird. Again, you start off really, really well. You don't take your chances. Celtic, one shot on target in the 5th minute, boom, goal. Second shot on target, boom, goal. First shot on target, boom, goal. So it came in at halftime, you're like, all right, you're losing. Just try and limit the damage. Try and limit the damage, boys. 5 minutes later, the second half, boom, goal. Celtic. I'm looking at that instant result button, just hovering over it. And you know what the game likes to throw you a little glimmer of hope. So we pulled one back, pulled another, and the game's like, all right, you've had your fun. Boom, Celtic, go. And then after that game, it just went downhill. I've just noticed in that Celtic game, actually, there's a player called Shin Yamada, and he scored 4 times. And guess how many goals he scored? How many goals he scored this season?
Was it 4?
I don't believe no matter what year it is, it's the same old FM. He's got 4 goals, guys, and he scored all 4 of them away to, at that time, the league leaders.
I mean, it wouldn't be FM if it wasn't playing the classics. Like,
yeah.
If you go to see a band you like and they don't play their hit song, you're going to be disappointed, aren't you?
So basically, that was 5 games ago, and we ain't won a game since. So that's how it's going.
All is not well in Edinburgh.
All is not well. We made one signing, so at the beginning of the season, we had 500k to spend. I feel a bit stitched up because I think whoever got me the Secret Santa shirt, they know I love a bit of money to play with an FM. So they're like, hey, we'll give you hearts then. And it's just 500k. But we bought a right winger called, let me find him because he's actually been doing decent. Raki Ayoani. He's from Tunisia. And we bought him from Tunisia. A team called okay, I'm just going to butcher everyone's name here, but Etuli Sahel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Etuli Sahel. Yep.
There we go. Where he played 28 games, scored 3 goals. He joined Hearts, and in 12 games, he's already scored 6, so he's doubled his tally from last season, but with 5 assists and 3 Man of the Match awards as well. For about 100k. He's
bloody great numbers.
I know. I might send Hearts a message after this episode then.
Get a scout report on him.
Just check him out. So yeah, my Heart save is going well, actually. It's a nice little save to get into the swing of things because Hearts obviously not underdogs in the league, but they're not the strongest. You still got Celtic and Rangers as the power teams, and that's clearly showing on the league table now as it's starting to shape up. So it's a good little dip your toes in the water save.
Has it kind of got you back into the... Have you had that just one more game type of vibe with the save yet? Or are you still sort of letting it warm up a little bit?
So when I actually played it. So today this morning I just opened it to look around and stuff to sort of have things to talk about in the show. But when I actually played it, I think it was 2 days ago, I think it's just that typical thing, right? Like I lost against Celtic and I'm just like, I'm not turning this game off until I win a game. I can't do it. And I just didn't win a game. I was like, I have to turn it off. I have to turn it off.
You're in the casino just pulling the lever repeatedly. No, it's fine. I'll double my money every single time until I earn all of my house back.
And the worst thing is that there was an away game. I was like, I just knew I wasn't going to win. I was like, I'm just going to try it. And you sort of just go in like, you've got nothing to lose sort of thing. Forgetting, I do have some positions in the table to lose, but yeah. So I had that. I had like one more game, but it was in the context of I don't want to close this game on a loss. Like, I need to win. But it would have been weird because had I won, I'd be like, let me see if I can win another one.
Yeah, exactly. See if we can get a bit of a streak going now. But that is it. That's how it manifests. It's the psychological loop that FM does to you, isn't it? It's the just one more game. I think people misdiagnose that a little bit as like, oh, I just really enjoyed it. No. It's exactly what you said. It's if I've lost 5 in a row, I'm playing the 6th game because I want to not lose 6 in a row. And when I do, I'm going to try and do it in the 7th one. And if I do turn it around like that, I want to turn it around because I want to make sure that I'm like, batting 500, I suppose, over the amount of games I've played. That's how it always gets you. It's just that one more little thing to see if you can turn it around. And I think that is what makes FM not special because you get this exact vibe in other games too. But I think that's just how it manifests itself in sort of the FM space. And it's getting to you. I can see it.
It is. I'm very lazy though when it comes to the game. So like when it comes to scouting, I just go to the transfer room. I don't do nothing else. I just do transfer room.
It's so good.
We had that episode where I spent the whole hour just criticizing. When they revealed it, I just spent the whole episode criticizing it. That was generally the one thing that I don't think I could make a signing without. Like, it just makes life so much easier.
And the thing is, I feel like it's one of those features, like with a lot of FSI features, that they come in and they go, right, this is the thing. But it's like a 3-year framework where it's then built upon.
Yeah.
Because there are a few things about it that annoy me, like the way that it doesn't seem to, when you're trying to set the in and out of possession bit, it selects the wrong one and then all that kind of crap. And then the fact that when you look at a player in it and then you click back, it takes you back to the creation screen and not the responses, and the filters aren't great. But the actual feature itself is banging. Oh,
it's effective.
It's like every January I'm like, hello, can I have a random man from a Nigerian club, please? And they're like, yes, you can. It's the best.
I haven't used it to sell players. I haven't really sold players though, to be honest. The squad wasn't
me neither. But people have told me that it's a feature I really need to be using properly is the transfer room out specific screen. But maybe I need to play a saver. I've got more league switched on so I can actively see more stuff on there or something. Because for me, it's not been all that obvious on there, or I've just got crap players that no one wants.
So how does it work? So I'm in the transfer room out, right? And it's got 15 opportunities, and it's like
if you click one.
So like St. Johnson, it's got striker. Does that mean they're looking for a striker?
So if you
so they're looking for a striker, and I can sell them a striker.
Yeah. It will give you like a list.
I've come up with a bug. Never mind. The whole page has just gone blank. The whole page is just gone. Oh Lord!
Pretend that didn't happen.
Alright, so let me go back out transfer room. Oh, okay, it's actually just fucked.
Yeah, it'll do that.
Okay,
but when it's working, what happens is you click it, and then the little WhatsAppy thing will pop up, and it will say they're interested. They're looking for a striker. We have X, Y, and Z players that meet those requirements, and it will literally give you a list of your players that meet them. Now, a lot of the time, it'd be first team players that you obviously don't want to sell to St. Johnston, but it will sometimes have players in there that are like a squad player that you're just trying to get rid of, and then you can actually click at the bottom. It'll say like offer Tommy Smith out, and it will automatically highlight him and like what's the word? It'll isolate St. Johnston in the actual transfer offer out. The only problem is if you do it for loans, so you go to the loan page and it says they're looking for a loan and we have a striker that meets it. When you try to offer the player out for loan, it still offers them out for transfer. So that's it's not perfect.
It's getting there. Yeah. I can see what it's useful for now. Yeah, that was pretty easy, actually. I don't know what I was scared of. I think I was just scared of that page because I opened it earlier and I just saw a bunch of teams. I just saw a strike. I was like, okay, I'm not being bothered. I ain't bothered with that. I have just seen, though, in my inbox, that Raki Owayani has just been called up to the Tunisia squad. I'm really tempted to play the game. I'm really tempted.
Well, at least you know what you're going to be doing after this podcast.
literally. Oh, my days. So, when I was snooping around Reddit earlier today, let me go and find the screenshot. It was quite funny as well. I did have some questions for the person that posted it, but... So, he's titled, "You've got to be kidding me. Does he keep the signing on bonus?" On Saturday, the 25th of December, Christmas Day, Van Dijk signs a new 4-year Real Madrid deal. What do you think happens 2 days later, Matt?
2 days later, it's got to be an injury. It's got to be a cruciate ligament. It has to be something like that.
Well, the injury would make sense, but there was no injury. 2 days later, Ramagers Van Dijk sets his date for retirement, which is at the end of the season.
Man said, thanks for the pay rise, I'll be off now, lads.
That is mental. So that's a question. What happens to the signing on bonus?
I guess, yeah, because the signing on bonus, because it's not a loyalty bonus, is it? It's a signing on bonus. So the loyalty bonus is paid out through the entire contract, I believe, but the signing on bonus is just a...
He's quite literally done the signing and he's just sat on his phone just waiting for that notification. You've been paid by Real Madrid. Yep, that's it. Hand in my retirement.
He's just unlocked an infinite money glitch. It's fantastic. He's going to go to a new club and do the same thing.
He's literally going to come out of retirement, ain't he? He's going to come out of retirement.
Virgin Van Dijk retirement tour.
That was
like,
actually quite funny.
He just keeps coming out of retirement when he needs money.
That was quite funny. There was also interactions. So let's say I want to sell John Carew. I don't know why John Carew just came to mind. I want to sell John Carew, and then John Carew is now unhappy that I want to sell him. So he's like, hey, no, I want to stay. So I'm doubling down and be like, look, listen, John, I have to get rid of you. And he turns around and he's like, I'm fuming how this gone. I really want to be put on the transfer list now.
It's very you can't fire me, I quit, isn't it? Like,
yeah. So that's apparently a thing in Football Manager this year. I haven't experienced it again because I haven't actually tried to sell anyone. But
the best one I've had recently was a player came to me and said, I'm not playing. And I said, I know you're not playing. That's on purpose. And then they said, I'd really like to go out on... All right, fine. You're not going to play me. Send me out on loan. And I think to myself, perfect. You know, there's normally about 10 options that you can say here. All of them usually say the same exact thing. But regardless, there's 2 options. One says, essentially, no, piss off. And the second one essentially says, I can't afford to loan you out right now. Why is there not an option to say, yes, I'll loan you out? It's the most obvious thing. For a person, like the option... If someone says, can I do X? The responses that I'm allowed to say shouldn't be no and no with more words. Like, there needs to be an option for me to say yes. It wasn't like it was the last year of his contract and he wasn't allowed out on loan. I was in a transfer window. It does feel like sometimes those things are just not connected to each other in any way. It's great for the memes, but it is quite frustrating. Much like your entire squad being on your back when you sell a 17-year-old youth player that they've never heard of until that exact moment. But I just kind of got used to the fact that they apparently are massive humanitarians in this one specific moment every single season. That happened
at FM24. I remember just losing my head. I don't know. I literally crashed out because I remember having this press conference and it was like, I'm not going anywhere because I'm not pressing any of those options because they're all wrong. They're literally all wrong answers. I know what's going to happen if I press this. So everyone, we're just staying there. Says no one's moving.
I will
no
outweigh
one's
you.
moving. Yeah, no one's moving. I had to press the button and of course he got upset.
Well, you've got to do it. This has happened to me before. I've had the exact opposite of that back on, I don't know, probably like FM21, where a player came to me and said, I really want to go out on loan. And my only options were to say, yes, I can loan you out. Whereas what I actually wanted to say is, I don't want to loan you out because you are going to be my starting striker this season. Like, I don't want to send you to Monaco. You're going to play for me. So obviously I couldn't say that. So I had to just say no. So he then had an 18-month strop, 18 months, while I sat here having to play him week in, week out. And eventually he got over it. But that sort of stuff, as we know from the morale you've suffered from the loss to Celtic and then what's happened, morale is, for me, still the most important functional mechanic in the entirety of FM is managing the morale. And the squad don't make it easy sometimes, man.
It really don't. It really don't. My favourite one, though, has got to be the body language and the subs, in it. When you bring on someone to change the game and they're like, I would prefer to stay on the bench. I was like, I can't believe this mother.
I love it. It's me when I get dragged out to a party. Would have rather been at home.
Because there was like a clip, what was it? I think Emil Smith-Rowe wanted to play. So it's so weird. So I think it's before the game. I don't know. A player is making a comment for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know where on the page or where in Football Manager this is. Again, this must be in FM26 because I haven't seen it. But it's like Emil Smith-Rowe says, Emil Smith-Rowe feels he should be starting.
To be fair, of all the players who would refer to themselves in the third person, Emil feels like the type, doesn't he? Like,
And then someone just left a comment. I was like, he's the type of guy that's gonna that you bring him on. He's like, I would have preferred to stay on the bench. Just like after all that moaning, bloke just wants to sit on the bench.
You'll be hearing from my attorney. He says as he trots onto the pitch.
Oh my days, morale manager. Gotta love it.
It's always been that way though, isn't it? Like, in a way, that's a nice bit of continuity. I think if these little warm and cozy interactions from the previous games weren't in it, and it was all... I genuinely feel like if it was working too well, I'd be a little bit suspicious. So I'm kind of glad that there's all... I think it shows that there was some continuity there, and it isn't completely... It makes you feel at home sometimes. It's like putting on an old t-shirt that's got holes in it and it's covered in paint, but it's yours. And I feel like the balked mechanics of these interactions kind of make me feel like that. Or it's just extremely high levels of copium that I'm huffing right now.
I think I would have liked some more like dynamism. The game to be more dynamic. I'll go with that word, not the other one. So like I would like the player to react differently. Because people have different personalities in the game, but it does feel like no matter what, the player's just gonna come back with the same response. Like John is gonna have the same response as Jack and the same as James. I think sometimes the only time you have a difference is when your reputation is up. So if you've got a really high reputation, then maybe sometimes you can persuade them and they'll be like, okay, fair play, whatever it is. But sometimes I really would like, just like, if I transfer this to you, sometimes just not be so upset. Or if you ask why, and I tell you the club's finances are not great, I can show you this paper. I can show you the finances are great. It's on Sky Sports News. Everyone knows the finances are not great. I have no option but to sell you. And previously in FM, it was just like, he still gets upset and it's just like, that's not really logical. Like, in real life, the player might be actually trying to move out to make sure he's more stable, whatever it is. But it's very unlikely that a team is experiencing some financial issues, trying to sell you, and you're like, nah, I can't believe you're trying to sell me.
I guess there are situations like that when the player's on like a lot of money. Do you remember when Jack Rodwell was at Sunderland and they got relegated to League One and he was just like, might not take a pay cut though. Might just keep earning. Because ultimately, they gave him the contract. Like, that's on you, innit? Like,
true.
I know what you mean. It does, as you say, with the reputation thing, it feels like a lot of the interactions are heavily based around that. There are certain situations where you can kind of figure out a few things. Because I've noticed recently, in the past, I was always afraid of hitting them with the, the one that's under the threaten box, which is, again, a bit much for a basic interaction, but sure.
Threaten.
Yeah, literally. What? With what? What am I threatening him with? Just pulls out a stick. But get out of here. But it's like, I have noticed that if you start to get really aggressive with them, now that I've got enough rep and stuff, it does actually work. That stick, the old slam your foot down and say, actually, you need to start showing some respect around here, which I'm pretty certain is literally one of the options. That one actually has been working for me lately. I clicked it accidentally and they all went green and I was like, well, okay then. New power unlocked.
There are some that I like. So like if you bring in a striker, then your other strikers be like, hey, I thought I was the first team. And then you could be like, no, you are. I promise you are the first team, and then he chills out. And I was like, see, like that makes sense. Blah 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 blah. I think there's some other ones like when you transfer this to someone, it's just like once you transfer this to them, if they moan, that's it. You've lost them forever, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think with that one, the striker one as an example is a really good one because it makes sense. You bring in a striker, they're a striker. That player's coming with X squad status. They're obviously going to be like, well, hang on, there's only one spot and someone's got to sit in that chair, right? So if I'm not sat in it when the music stops, etc., that makes sense. I feel like the game doesn't do a very good job in a lot of other ones of explaining why the player is feeling like they are. They'll sort of come to you and say, I deserve a new contract. And you're like, okay, cool, but why? What is it? Because they'll come to you after a run of horrendous form and be like, well, I think my performances recently. Do you? Is that what you think? Because clearly that's not why it's triggered that conversation. It's most likely that they've played a bit more recently and it's above the contract role that they have. And the game kind of goes, aha, this will be a fun one for you. But to me, they shouldn't be allowed to do that if they've dropped, 7 straight 6.1 ratings and they're only playing because your best left back's injured. That's not how you earn a new contract, lad. That's actually how you earn me selling you in the summer. So if it was maybe just a bit better at explaining why a player is doing a certain thing, you can sort of unravel the logic, but I think particularly for newer players as well, like we get frustrated at it as people that see these things hundreds and hundreds of times, but I think as a newer player, that would be probably quite off-putting, particularly as it's part of the game that you can't really avoid because you can't just, well, you could delegate it, but like we all know how that goes.
Yeah, do not delegate. My favorite one though is when like what is it? Oh yeah, the player wants to leave, but he's just playing him. The window closes, and he's like, you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
2 days later, you know what? I want a new contract. It's just like, wait 1 second, Johnny, how was it 2 weeks ago you want to leave? Now you want a new contract to stay for extra years? Nah, this game's pulling my leg. The game's pulling my leg. I love that.
It's like your wife's like, I want a divorce. And you're like, no, honey, we can work this out. And then all of a sudden, the bloke she's after gets like with someone else. She's like, do you know what? Counselling it is. I'm like, no. Like, what are you doing?
Another baby?
Renew our vows in the Caribbean.
I love the interactions, but yeah, I think that in that area, I think the game still, even from like previous years, it's not specifically a FM26 thing, but I think there's still a little bit more work to do in that area. But I don't know, when it move into the Unity engine, in my head, it's just is like, this could be limitless. Like, God knows what the interactions is going to be like now. Obviously, maybe first year a bit disappointed, but maybe first year they just didn't bother trying to do that sort of stuff, considering all the other stuff that they had to do.
I'm glad they didn't, honestly. Like, if they'd come into it and it was all great new interactions, we'd have been like, that's cool and all, but that isn't what people were looking for. And I think they understood that, which is why we have got, because they're quite clearly just for the most part, the 24 interactions with a slightly different UI. And I'm completely okay with that. Oh, good God.
Oh! I see that I put this in the group chat, right? Because I thought I was dreaming, and I can't see it again. But I was pretty sure that I saw FM or FM Assist, the sister, say that the pass maps and stuff might be coming back. Mm-hmm. Now,
yes, sir.
If that comes back, is it going to fix things, or is people just gonna, those people that moaned about no pass maps, or they're gonna just find something else and be like, but where's the cup drawers? It really takes away this thing.
There's always something to complain about, I guess, right? And we will find a way. We wouldn't have a podcast if there wasn't.
Yeah, literally.
But yes, they are. They specifically mentioned that in multiple of these sort of update, like the updates about the updates that don't actually contain an update. They have mentioned pass maps. And like, maybe we could put it where the little lottery pitches in the middle of the like, that would be great, actually, because where else are you going to put them, I suppose? Either way, if they bring them back, I think it's a cool feature because I feel like it's a great way of analyzing tacticals. The great way of analyzing my tacticals is to look at pass maps and stuff. And as much as I like looking at the actual matches now because they look a lot better and you can, I feel like, read tactically way more into it, it's so nice to have the analytical side of stuff on the side of it as well, because you can sometimes see more in numbers than you can in eyes.
Yeah. I just think the pass map, I think sometimes, even if you're not like tactically in tune, I still think like, so if you're trying to make changes based off watching the game, you still kind of sort of have, you need some, it doesn't have to be Pep Guardiola level, but you still need to have some sort of understanding of the game. And I thought that pass maps just allowed people to be like, my left back shouldn't be in that position when we have the ball or whatever. It just allowed people to make that change instantly. Because obviously a lot of people, when you're watching the game, there's so many different things you're focusing on. You're not just focusing on your left back because you still got 9 other outfield players on the pitch to look at and see what they're doing. So I still think that visualizer of the average position, especially average position, but I think pass maps, because that was always in your inbox the next day, you always saw it, sort of thing. I just think that is such a great way to be like, my team shape was definitely off, and I can literally see it on the pass map that my team shape was off.
Yeah, it almost feels like 26 created this sort of very steep, not even a steep learning curve. It wasn't even a curve so much. It was just a flat and then boom, like that.
Yeah.
And unless you're already on this cliff, being able to get up there was almost impossible, because you'd have to basically be able to, as you say, interpret all that stuff in your own head. And if you're a proper saddo like me, sure, but not everyone is, right? And I think having pass maps is a lovely little thing that almost creates a lovely little ladder that can bring you up to that point. And also just makes it easier. Just having that information is always going to be better because you can then get tangible data on whether a thing you then changed based on what you saw is actually doing the thing you wanted it to. Because you might just, you might make a change and that might be the perfect change, but you don't see a highlight that actually demonstrates it just because they defended it really well. But it might still be doing exactly what you want and it's going to be revolutionary in your next game because you can see the numbers and you can see the way that the passes are now working. But it might have just been defended quite nicely by your opponent, but it might not always. And I think those little things, giving the player more tools, to me, unless they're completely obsolete, will always be a better thing. And pass maps are a brilliant part of that, some of the cool data. Do you remember you could go back and watch individual shot highlights where you could actually see the passes built up to the shot and it would have all the data on it and it would tell you the time, who did what, and you could click it and it would play it in 2D and 3D. And I know that shit's so overkill, but bugger me, was it great.
But was it overkill? See, now in my head, I can see it being overkill with the way FM26 is, where, again, it might just be your feeling rather than the actual reality, but it just feels like everything is just very clicky. So trying to get to that sort of thing might feel a bit more clicky and more hard than it was in FM24. But in FM24, these things for me just felt so easy, so smooth to get to. And it'd be like in a game, and it's someone, or whatever, I should be reading the chat, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Did you see that goal? No. I should go to my analysis quickly, and I could just quickly see the pass combination, oh, wow, I didn't see that. And you could just press the goal and watch it all back. Everything just felt so fluid. And now, even sometimes when I watch a goal back, the highlight is just so long. I'm like, where is this goal, Bedrin? Where is this goal? My celebration's just knocking the ball about.
It is unbelievable. For my stream recap videos, I capture footage from every single goal that we score and concede to use them in the videos to do voiceover for it. But I have to do it after each stream now because it takes so long. And I sometimes legitimately have a single goal highlight that is over 2 minutes long because I had one the other day where I don't even think the replay highlight I think it was longer than the one I actually watched when we scored the goal because there were 3 separate shots that started with the goalkeeper holding onto the ball before we actually had the shot that was the goal. I'm like, why am I seeing this? It was like an entire 3-minute highlight thing from Sky Sports, but it was one goal. And that sort of stuff, that's more of a pet peeve from a content side of things. I imagine and then again, even as a player, if you're like, oh, listen lads, I want to show you my goal.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's coming. Bear with, it's coming. So yeah, I suppose it's an odd choice. I think what it is it's just completely showing the entire highlight that is generated by the game, whereas it feels like in 24 and prior, it would just trim it to the last 15 seconds essentially.
Yeah. Just so smooth in FM24. But I did have this thing when I was playing a couple of days ago. This one was quite annoying. When I was watching on key highlights, and then similar thing. Some highlights was I'm watching a full get. What's going on in my highlight mode? I check it, it's on key, and I was like, brother, the ball's gone in. I'm seeing my man throw the ball in 4 or 5 times now. Where's the highlight? What's going on? And then no highlight. Boom, the AI score. I was like, fuck. Just to wind me up even more. It did have to end in a goal. But what?
And it's always this is key highlights. What part of this is key to this attack here exactly? Is the part where the ball lamely rolls out of play for 5 seconds? Is that key to the highlight, would we say?
Yeah, because at first I got excited because it's our highlight. We're moving the ball into their half, blah, blah, blah. And it gets 10 seconds okay, definitely my highlight because we still got the ball, it's going to end. It goes out for a throw and I was like, okay, the highlight comes from the throw in then. Take the throw in, player gets tackled, another throw in. And that just kept happening quite a bit. Until they just got the ball, lobbed it forward, and they scored. I was like, oh my days, what did I just watch? To be fair, it didn't happen a lot. It might happen just once every 5 games or whatever it was, but god damn it was annoying.
I guess the plus side, and this is more of a, to play devil's advocate here, it does at least keep it unpredictable. So when you say it's our highlight, in 24 and prior, you pretty much knew that either if you started the highlight with the ball, it was your highlight, or at the very most, you're going to give it away and it's their highlight.
Yeah.
Whereas in 26, I've got no clue. The highlight can start from our own corner and I'd be like, this could easily be a goal for them. And I do actually kind of like the uncertainty of that. So if in a way this has been done as a way of maybe adding to that uncertainty, then I guess I'm not entirely opposed to it. It might be one of the reasons why the games take a little bit longer, I must say. So perhaps they do need to cut down on certain bits where it is just showing nothing. Sometimes when the ball will just run and re-roll out of play, maybe just don't do those bits. If as long as the ball stays in play, though, I don't care how many times we lose in game possession. I actually quite like the fact that there is that element of uncertainty. It doesn't feel as anywhere near as uniformic and patterned as it did in the past. And I've still, we're into the fourth month of this game now. Occasionally you'll see a little pattern, but generally speaking, I'm still going, that's a cool passing move. That's a cool goal. It feels more fluid and like it's actually reacting in a real-time scenario rather than just playing out a series of in the past, it almost felt like the game was a series of set pieces played out in open play sometimes, whereas it feels like in 26, it's not like that at all. Everything feels open when it's open, and I do kind of like that a lot.
Well, to be fair, being an Arsenal fan, a bit unrealistic. It's so mad because it was something that I used to complain about so much, and it's now like when you're scouting, watching like just a team's goals, like, this goal, like you might be watching a player, but you're watching the team's goals to see how his role played and whatever. And just like, that came from a throw-in. That was the second phase of a corner. It's like, this happens quite often in football. I guess obviously in a game, you've set your tactics, you want to see that play out. You don't want to see you set this 4-3-3 thinking you're recreating Pep Guardiola, only for your Haaland to score 40 from Ake, throwing it from a throw-in sort of thing. Like, that's maybe not what you want to see in a game. But to be fair, it does happen in real life. And I do like the uncertainty in Football Manager as well, the highlights. I do feel... I noticed that straight away with my Southampton one. It's like... Because the highlight opens up, anything can happen. It's just... anything can happen. You have to focus. Whereas I just know my most annoying... cue in FM24 is when your centre backs are just knocking the ball back with each other, but it starts to get slower. Like the passes that they're making, it's connected slower. It's like one of these is gonna get loose, get intercepted, go.
It's like one of those desk toys that do this, and eventually it's gonna lose momentum and stop, and then the striker's gonna nab it.
Yeah. But this one, and some of the goalkeeper saves as well, when it's just like there was one that they made, and I just screamed like, "That was a fucking save." I was like, I like that. Some of the new animations in the game, there is so much to like about FM. It just still needs to come all together, I feel. It's getting there.
Yeah. It's sort of a bit loose in its interpretation. It's like a band that needs to rehearse a little bit more before it goes on a live tour. Like, it's great, but just... there's a lot of great ingredients there and some new stuff that is phenomenal. Like they've gone like the Dutch East India Cup. They've uncovered some spices no one's seen before, and they're there, but no one quite knows how to cook with them yet. Yeah. Literally, is it seasoning? Does it go in after? Is this a dry rub? Is it a marinade? Like, what are we doing here?
It's a bit like the stages screen that we just talk about. It's like before they just dashed it in, like, we'll see what happens. Everyone tasted it. Nah, that's not the right ingredient. That's not the right way to do it. And they're like, it must go in like this then. And then they put it in and like, there we go. That tastes much better.
There's a devil that's just like, you've got to flip it halfway through. Then you cook it on both sides.
Literally, yeah. FM. So are we saying that FM are cooking, or is that a stretch?
They kind of are, though. I truly believe that they are. And I think that we'll look back on this day when we're doing a podcast about FM30's release and be like, God damn, this game is good at the moment. Remember when it wasn't? But that doesn't justify it being bad on release and then asking people to pay for it and basically pay beta testers for a year. Totally understand that perspective, particularly when you're, the average consumer that just wants to play a football game and have a fun time with it, right? It's not your job. You're just a person that wants to enjoy the game. Yeah. Completely understand that. But I guess I have to be optimistic about it. I am genuinely very optimistic about where it's going. I think there's so much stuff here that's going to be awesome. And a lot of the changes that I'm seeing made to it only reinforce that. They haven't made many changes to the game that I've gone, oh God, what are we doing here? It's always been like, no, I see the vision here. I see where we're heading. You've acknowledged that's a mistake, and they have. That's cool. Let's do more of that. Let's see where this game could be. I'm genuinely super stoked to see where it could be, to see what crazy recipes they come up with next.
Yeah. I just think unfortunate for them. I just think, obviously, they lost a bit of credit.
Yeah.
With the FM25 being cancelled I think that is the only reason, not the only reason, but I think that just adds on people's harsh, and even you yourself, right? Obviously, you're like, fair enough, I've had to wait that extra year. So now you've known you've waited that extra year. This game's coming out, it's like, okay, you've given them an extra year now. It's got to be 10-10. And it's like, all right, it still feels like this is what FM25 should have been, sort of thing, yeah.
If this was 25, I feel like the goodwill would have been a lot more, people would have been a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what, fuck it. That's fair. It's because of the fact that it was cancelled and then there was the extra year and then it was this. It was almost inevitable that if they were going to release it the way that it is, that it was going to be a PR disaster or whatever. And that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but it also kind of has to be, right?
Yeah,
so
it has to be.
it's the beginning of a new dawn or something. I don't.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I mean, that song just came straight to my head.
It's a new life for me.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
So, people, that is unfortunately the end of today's show. Thank you guys for listening to our show today. Don't forget, the entertainment doesn't stop because we do have a Patreon page over at patreon.com/the FM Show pod. That's patreon.com/the FM Show pod, where you can support the channel from as little as £3. But that's it from us today. Hopefully Sam makes it home from Mexico safely and Tony from Birmingham safely as well, even though, Tony...
Which is more likely.
I was like, you know what, let me be nice to Tony as well. Let me just wish him a safe journey. But Sai, bring us something back from Mexico. And guys, next week, enjoy another episode. We'll see you then. Peace out. How do I end this?